Hello everybody and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason. Super excited to bring this one to you. It was one of the matches that was submitted to my replay channel on my Discord, which you can go check out in the link down below in the description section. I have a feeling we're going to see some good stuff. Apparently we've got some spicy build orders to take a look at today, so I'm excited to see exactly what goes down. Spawning in the back line of the red team is a Cortex commander, a commander that goes by the name of Zero Renegade. 41 true skill and hailing from the United States of America. Excited to see what this commander has in store for us here. In the backline on Esker Creek? Yes, Esker Creek version 1.3. Still getting used to this name of the beautiful map that we have laid out before us. The high metal map that we have laid out before us. Yeah, definitely going to be a interesting one to see how this explodes, and especially the pro lobbies. I have a feeling that the pros are going to go absolutely nuts over this. We've seen a couple of those high level games already. It's looking like this is going to be one of those action-packed maps. Now, all the way across the map, but spawning on the front line, similarly as a Cortex commander, goes by the name of a Cal Adonis. Gonna be going for that bot lab here, gonna be going for some of those good old-fashioned Cortex bots. Gonna be going into a Grezbot. Combined Resbot and Grave Robber right there. A Grave Robber is out on the field here. Sure enough, gonna be eating up some of those trees right there. Lovely, lovely stuff. Yeah. Tree is a very, very early way to get yourself a fabulous energy economy. Every second that the Resbot is reclaiming here, it's about 50 to 60 energy, well, closer to 60 energy per second that the Resbot is pulling in, and obviously it kind of varies ever so slightly as the Resbot moves between the trees here, but every single second counts, and certainly all that energy is going to be wonderful for spamming out, say, for instance, a whole bunch of grunts. Lovely stuff right here for the blue commander, who is already running very far forward right now. Meanwhile, an air scout over on the right-hand side will reveal at the very least where the powder blue base is. Not going to find anybody on this back spot. That's an important scout. If you find somebody back there, it means there's almost always going to be a dedicated air player. In this case, the air is coming out of Supreme Leader, who's on the southern side. Bit of an interesting choice, because this is not an air lane. This is definitely a lane that you're going to have to contest. If Mythology reads this correctly, absolutely these units should go across the field and do tons and tons of damage to punish this player for going air on a position where otherwise they normally shouldn't. Now let's check out the vision of the red team here. Okay, so at the end of it all, managed to scout where two of the bases is. Not the best scouting in the world, but, you know, these blue players definitely prepared for it with that long run-up time here to Mythology, and the scouts ahead. Excellent reaction speed, I should say, by the way, from Smokey, who did indeed, at the end of it all, get that anti-air turret up, I'm sure, to shoot down that scouting plane. Now the blue team scouting, nowhere near as good. Despite the lackluster information right here for the red team, the blue team is definitely missing some of that critical information. Definitely going to be cheeky, because moving forward on this map is quite difficult. Without proper understanding of exactly where your enemy's army is positioned, it can be really punishing to step across this river if you don't have a really, really strong army and a really solid hold on exactly how many forces you have, how many forces the enemy has, and whether you have the right composition to beat theirs. It can turn into a bloodbath really quickly, and not only that, but a bloodbath that's extremely, extremely easy for the other team to capitalize on. Nebuchadnezzar, the second here, apparently in orange, is going to be holding the top lane here, going for quite a few constructors. Going to send one back to the rear metal extractors here. 6 metal per second between all three of those, so that's lovely to see. And then we've also got some more moving forward here. It looks like 8 in total between all these 4 metal extractors. Should be a good hot mountain of metal here for the orange commander to take advantage of. The 2 up here on this high ground. Usually, at least so far what we've seen, is pork up on this high ground, and it makes a lot of sense. One of those few spots where you can put down a gauntlet or an agitator or something like that and still have it be valuable, although I'm always going to favor the rattlesnake or persecutor, just because, of course, those T2 defenses are quite a bit better in the long run. More range, more damage, better overall, more cost efficient. Means they're going to have a way easier time in the end of the day trading out and eventually being worth their metal. Yep. Scouts are found right here by Nebuchadnezzar. Gonna force out some units right now. There we go. We do have some pawns running forward right now to try and intercept the scouting grunt forces right here from the blue player, but that blue player sees the ticks that go down right here and immediately pulls the trigger to march on forward. A tricky situation. This hill is sort of the choke point that you're hoping to hold. I guess there's a nice choke point right here as well, though. That being said, once you open up this lane right here, you leave open these commanders to a massive, massive opportunity path right here where you can apply so much pressure in so many different ways. It's one of those openings right here that's going to be really difficult to contest if we don't push back the forces of the blue team. Not the end of the world quite yet, because those metal extractors never came up in the first place, but absolutely as soon as they do, it's going to be a problem. Grunts deflected nicely by the beamer turret over here. I actually love to see that. The beamer turret, very, very powerful as far as static defense goes. Yeah, there we go. Not bad. Oh, what is this? Little hole in the map right there. Gone away now. I'm not sure exactly what that was. We looked into the fourth dimension. We broke the fourth walls. I was standing right behind you there for a second. We're back to bar, but my goodness, was that scary. No, I love to see that Zara Renegade is contributing forces right here. Easily the Red Commander could have just gone for a greedy build here, just gone raw into T2, hoping to use this geothermal to fund everything, but it looks like we do have some unit production up and running, so that's lovely to see. Master Baiter 699, lovely, lovely stuff. Going to be holding the front line, the Maroon Commander. I'll say that name one time and one time only to hopefully save my poor monetization badge. Sometimes only so much can be done. Yeah, only so much. Mythology holding this high ground quite a bit more steadily than we do see over on the northern side here from the Orange Commander. There is a bomber up in the air. Okay. Wonder how much value this bomber is going to be able to get. It's headed across the map right now. Yeah, anti-air starts up here for Disology. No anti-air here yet. We could start up anti-air on the main base, but already the bomber is coming across. Yeah, we did eventually. Either we got some fabulous scouting information or this is a beautiful prediction. I have to imagine this is a scout. Yeah, wonderful scouting. Means that we are going to be able to drop those heavy whirlwind impulse warheads directly onto a bunch of wind turbines, blowing them to Kingdom Come. Oh, another bombing run too. The fighter's just a second too slow. 2 successful bombing runs for the price of a single bomber. Absolutely phenomenal. Definitely what the Hot Pink Commander was hoping for right here. Trying to justify that air start so that we're not losing too much ground right here in the middle of the map. Kekman 69 going to be going up against 2 commanders at once right here, essentially fighting the losing fight so that the air player can get some value out. And if we keep bombing like that, it definitely will be enough value to justify it. But it's hard to say whether that's going to come back to bite the Hot Pink Commander in the rears or not. We do have a little bit of a forward position right here from the blue team. I like this, actually. I think pushing forward and expressing this advantage eventually compounds into a really, really nice advantage. Obviously, you're shutting down these metal extractors, which is great, denying the economy of the enemy, but also, of course, it's very difficult to cross this river because it's, well, a river. And what that ends up meaning most of the time anyways is that, yeah, if you don't manage to take this forward position early, it's going to be even harder to take it later into the match. My goodness, mass aggravator coming up right here from the Lavender Commander. Making good use of Resbots galore to eat up all of the trees around to fund a whole bunch of, well, production all over the place here. I was going to say energy conversion as well, but I don't see a whole lot of energy converters being used. I would like to. There we go. We do have a T2 transition in the backline, by the way. Bunch of T2 constructors latched onto the lab right here. Pretty funny to use the T2 of your friendly teammates to build the T2s of your teammates. Kind of a dick move. Yeah. I've already said enough raunchy stuff this video. I'm sure it's gonna get demonetized anyway. Either way, yeah, definitely feels a little bit rude to like let them continue paying for stuff like this. But I guess it doesn't really matter. I mean, they're only contributing so much, and at the end of the day, it helps everybody get their economy up, right? Right? Surely. I'm sure that's how they would see it too. If those commanders noticed that their T2s had been feeding metal to that commander for a good long while. James D 191 moving forward right here in Lavender, trying to push forward with all these aggravators. They are balled up though. Oh no, we gotta unball the aggravators. Aggravators taking so much AoE damage. Oh, that was a nice connection right there though. This is the trick with aggravators. Rocketeers it goes for as well, the Armada counterpart to the aggravator. When you have too many of them, they actually become really unwieldy. Really, really difficult to micro. You have to spread them out in really large lines like this, as you can see from... Whoa, pardon me. As you can see from a cow Adonis. I think a fly just went in my throat. Oh my god. Anyway. I've got a drink with me here. Maybe that'll help. Ah, delicious. Yeah, sorry about that. What were we talking about? Aggravators, that's right. They become unwieldy at some stage. You need a larger and larger surface area every single second in order to make the aggravators worthwhile, to make them fire efficiently. I think part of the problem with that is that on some maps that's really, really easy to accomplish. On other maps that's extremely difficult. This is one of those maps where you have plenty of space, but not everywhere on the map. Certainly there are choke points here that are going to be much more difficult to push into than others. Here we go though. A couple of pawns running by. They do take down a metal extractor and an LLT. Doesn't justify what was that? Maybe 10 pawns going down right there? I don't think so. Nebuchadnezzar trying to hold the line right here. Aggravator's technically outranged by the beamer turret, so as soon as he step forward to try and fire at it, they will be blasted. Yeah, there we go. One of the superpowers of the beamer turret, aside from its insanely consistent damage, is yeah, the fact that it can just blast away at a lot of Rocketeers and all that other good stuff without actually sustaining any damage from them. Look at that. 2 Rocketeers and nearly a third go down before that beamer turret even sees or before rather those Rocketeers ever see the turret blasting them in the face. Lovely stuff here. We've already got a agitator up on the high ground. My goodness, we've got 2 more in the build queue. I wonder why, wonder what the purpose was here. We've already put, what is that, about 100 metal into this before it decayed? Oh no. Well, no reclaim means that Kickman is going to lose some of that metal right here. Obviously not worried about metal efficiency though, as we're going for a second aggravator on the high ground here. While we're going for a T2 lab. Wow, okay, that's this is an expensive upgrade we're doing right now. We're going for a T2 lab, we're going for more build power, we're going for units, and we're going for aggravators on the front line. Thousands and thousands of metal, and is there any damage to justify any of this? Is there any res bots reclaiming enemy bodies? Is there anything like that to justify this? I don't see it. Definitely not looking like there's really anything to justify all this metal we're putting out in the field right now. So if we want to keep up with well, what's going on around us, certainly going to cost quite a lot in the long run. Offset somewhat, I will say, by the gauntlets that have been built over here. So Agitator's 50 metal more expensive than the gauntlets. But the double gauntlets from Mythology, likewise, an insane investment right here. Now luckily that's somewhat offset by the T2 constructor going around in the back lane and building those T2 mexes right here, unlike what we have for the Pink Commander. In fact, I don't see any T2s here. It looks like we do have a T2 right here. Interesting. Wow, I really need to get another glass of agua fresca, huh? Anyways. Pardon me, we're getting off the rails here. The T2 lab is up right here for the Tan Commander. I would have liked to see we buy a T2 constructor and send it on over here and just upgrade the metal extractors that way, rather than going through the whole kit and caboodle of upgrading to a T2 Max and upgrading, you know, paying all this extra metal essentially to reach the destination that we could have with just another 500. Anyways, just about time for those T2 units to hit the field for the first time. Code Nos is going to be shell-shocked here as these shell-shocked rather, as these fiends hit the battlefield. We do have a bunch of repair turrets to keep this Twin Guard up and alive, and it will keep that Twin Guard up and alive. That's quite impressive. Commander coming under fire here, though, now that that has been spotted. That will be the primary target of these Sheldon, now firing away with their extended arm Gauss cannon. Always happy to see the Sheldon balls up and building. Wow. Costly trade right here, but one that I think is well worth it, yeah. Gonna blow up the aggravator here on the, or sorry, agitator here on the front line with the aggravator here. And then take down the heavy laser tower as well. The commander actually jumping pretty far forward here. Okay, not bad. I mean, it's one way to threaten this back is just with some good old-fashioned commander D-gunnery. I'd like to see this commander step forward to D-gun this as well. Obviously a prime target right up here on this cliffside. The D-gun, oddly enough, has no height limit. It just has a distance limit. It's very strange. You can shoot it like directly upwards is what I'm trying to say. It has a circular range. No, pardon me, it has a spherical range. That's what I'm trying to say. Good old-fashioned Fiend battles. So destructive. Fiend versus Fiend is just the most volatile engagement in this entire game. Beautiful run-bys here, though. I mean, what is that? 3, 6, 9 metal extractors going down right here, and I don't think that's the end of it either. Got another LLT will pop right here as well, and that Fiend is still not done. Oh, okay, he's going to be pulled back by a little bit of a miscue. Not bad, though. Okay, we're getting started here. I feel like at this point it would be fair to reveal the strategy that I decided to focus on this game. Nebuchadnezzar II investing heavily in the spider bots here. So if you watched the last video, first of all, if you haven't watched the last video, definitely go give it a shot because I tried out a build that was really, really fun. But Nebuchadnezzar here has been working on this build simultaneously, trying to perfect the Arachnopod race, trying to get this build up and running as quickly as possible, trying to get this whole thing working smoothly here. Going for a bit of a mixed composition of forces here. So we're going for Webbers, we're going for Recluses. The Recluse is a rocket spider bots. They fire a volley of 3 missiles, and those fire out in a straight line and deal damage to whatever they interact with. Obviously, missiles doing pretty severe damage to whatever they find, but also not particularly good against moving targets. So the Webbers included there make for a really, really good argument in the case of, yeah, paralyzing things to make them static and then eventually blasting them apart with those rockets. Landmines have been set up here by a Twitcher. Lovely stuff. Yep. As soon as you hit those landmines, you just got to turn around. Not worth losing your army over running into a couple of those landmines, hoping that the path is clear after you step on the first batch, because 99% of the time, it definitely won't be. My immediate knee-jerk reaction is to reach for a Juno missile. Obviously not the only solution. Oh, gotta be careful too. Oh, gotta be so careful. Patrolling your units over the landmines. Obviously they're not gonna detonate to the friendly forces, but you can imagine a stray shot or two lands on top of any of those and it could be trouble. Move, yeah. This is not a safe space. Definitely don't want to keep your units standing there. You really don't want to fight over landmines like this. This is really, really risky for the Cyan Commander. Unnecessarily risky right now. Meanwhile, the blue commander, or sorry, the red commander is pushing directly far forward. Brightworks does colors, trademarked. The red commander is pushing pretty far forward here. Yeah, we are running right into the base here. We've got a whole bunch of fiends about to run into some more medium landmines over here. Lovely stuff. Always satisfying when the landmines make a good connection like that. 16 metal, maybe 32 in total. Managing to shut down a unit worth a couple hundred. Very, very valuable. Okay. We've gone for one of my other favorite units. You know him, you love him. It's the welder, baby. He's got his little Tesla Tower backpack on. He's got his little, oh wait, where's his arm cannon? Oh, did they not pull it? Is it like a weapon they equip when they get into combat range? I guess it's like a little weapon. Yeah, he just has two little hands. Oh, I always thought the welder had like a little, I thought it was just built into his arm. No, it looks like it's kind of a weapon that they like reach into their backpack and pull out, I guess. Well, would you look at that? You learn something new every day, don't you? Disology going for a little bit of static defense down here. We do have this formidable aggravator line, although it'll become less and less formidable as the hound numbers do grow. And they are growing. Well worth noting. Sheldon, meanwhile, have liberated this southern section here. Yep, persecutors, gauntlets, you name it, it'll go. That's the power of that Sheldon ball. Not any one unit doing a particularly tremendous amount of damage, but over time, every unit doing a little trickle of damage, and at the end of the day, it ends up being a quite powerful trade. Quite efficient trade. A couple of LOTs down here still making this uncomfortable, but not the end of the world whatsoever. We have an agitator on, an agitator on dumbfire mode. Always funny to see that happening, especially when in friendly fires. We got a persecutor coming up. Okay. Is that a sharpshooter? I swear I heard a sharpshooter. Yeah, it was. Okay. So we've got a solid composition here. We've got welders, we've got sharpshooters. That works on its own. But now we've also got the Webbers and the Recluses here to deal with anything else that might be lurking. And there we go. Webbers moving forward right now. Getting ready to jump on top of a whole lot of this static defense. Beautifully done. Yeah, I mean, Persecutor, a perfect target for that entire composition. The Weber, or the Recluses, pardon me, going to do fabulously against all that. And then obviously the Weber is going to be great for paralyzing any of that static defense. And then the Welders in front to tank. This is really, really nice. Yeah, this is a very sturdy composition being utilized very nicely here. Obviously a tricky one to command because there is so much to do. Sharpshooter numbers are building as well, but Fiends do jump on top of this. Now the Welders are here to essentially counteract the Fiends, but you need basically an even number of Welders to Fiends in order to make it efficient. The Fiend has way higher DPS value. The Welder has much higher HP value. It's a asymmetrically balanced sort of composition, sort of a fight. Looks like someone on the blue team taps out though. I'm gonna guess it's the player in powder blue who just lost their entire base to a whole pack of Fiends and Grunts running into the backline right here. Beautiful stuff. That'll be a whole bunch of metal going down right now for the blue team as well. Not even any energy to run all this. Even if there was, it would be it'd be worth nothing as the commander has now left his forces brainless. His brainless soldiers fighting ever onward. We are swamping through here pretty good. Mammoth, definitely a pain. Love the flak truck here, though. Yeah, look at that flak truck tearing apart this air wall. That's actually really nice. Anytime you can get a flak truck underneath the enemy air wall is always a really huge benefit. Your air player will thank you, or if they don't, they definitely should. The air wall being thinned out like that makes bombing runs extremely easy, way easier than they otherwise would be. One of those things that can have an incredible impact on the game is just shutting down a little bit of the enemy's air forces using some static AA, or, well, mounted AA, I should say. I would definitely recommend, though, that you don't invest too heavily on Manticores or Archangels, the T2 bot anti-air. Those are quite depressing. However, the flak trucks are extremely good. 100% invest in those. 100% don't invest in Archangels, Manticores, that sort of thing. Fiend's burning away a bunch of this T1 with brutal efficiency. About to jump on top of this big Sheldon ball too. Would love to see a self-destruct here. I think we can probably do more damage with a couple of well-placed self-destructs. Oh, all of this is parked on landmines. Oh no. It's all parked on landmines again. 3 big juicy landmines right here, and I have a feeling we're about to watch them connect. Boom goes the comp. Oh no. Just like that, a beautiful spray of Sheldon parts flies up into the air, signaling the end of the army right there for the cyan, or the Seafoam Green Commander's main composition. Those landmines are tough, man. They're a double-edged sword. Gotta be so cognizant of where you put them. Basically, this entire area is a no man's land right here, and it's great because it does deny the enemy pushing in right here, but also it denies you standing there to defend it, so it makes it very difficult to mobilize a force to the position that maybe you want it, because suddenly there's heavy explosives buried about 4 inches under the dirt. Spybot here, taking a proper gander. Looking about to see what's happening here. It does spy that there's a bulwark in progress right now. That's a excellent little peek right here to see that there's something coming up on this hillside. Finding that bulwark is definitely key to contributing towards blasting it down right now. As well, we have T3 units starting to make their way to the fronts here. So we're going for a couple of demons right now. I don't mind it. Usually when I have an unscouted T3 transition, an uncontested T3 transition, one of my favorite things to go for on a Cortex laboratory or a Legion laboratory is the catapult. One of those units that just can get tremendous value if you can catch your opponent off guard with them. 2 or 3 catapult can basically destroy anything in the game. There's very few units with enough armor to stand up to a couple of volleys from catapults. What that really means, of course, is that the earlier the catapult gets out, the more value it can get, right? We do have a couple of transports flying around with commandos. Okay, I'm not opposed. Interesting that they're landing here. I mean, frankly, we could probably go a little bit further if I was to guess. I mean, this certainly works. There we go. Okay. We got a little commando drop, little cheeky commando drop right here by Smokey. I like to see it. I like that. I'm glad that we're doing something right here. One of the things that I like to do with these is set them on repeat. If you set them on repeat, that way you can queue up these. Whoops, pardon me. You can queue up these landmines one time, and then you don't have to worry about it. Just a handy little trick right there for anybody who might be trying to figure out how to utilize commandos really efficiently. We do need to move them though. Commandos do have a little blaster mounted on their shoulder. It's actually quite good. It's certainly going to be good enough against these T1 chaff. It has a little bit of AoE too, which is why these are going down in such numbers. My goodness. Yeah, that AoE blaster actually fairly powerful there, huh? Setting themselves up a nice little landmine pathway over here. I think when we run these around, I might be able to catch the demon with it. I'm neglecting a massive fight over here to hopefully see something go down, but I don't think it's gonna happen. Yeah, okay. Well, it was an excellent effort, but already too much damage has been done. The southern side has been ravaged here. There's fiends burning across the battlefield, trying to take down whatever they can. Already a large portion of, in fact, all of the green base has been blasted apart. The Seafoam Green Commander trying desperately to get some units out too. We've got a couple of mammoths coming up. Mammoth's definitely an excellent option as far as you want a stalwart defensive line, right? They're very, very good at being a mobile wall that can push forward. Obviously, the trick to that, though, is that they're extremely slow, so moving around them is very easy. Nice Juno missile right there, shutting down the radar jammers of the Sheldon, making it a little inconvenient. Once those Sheldon are exposed, it can definitely make things a little bit tricky here. Going for another persecutor. We've gone heavily into the sharpshooters. I love to see it. We've got 9 sharpshooters up so far, and I think that's probably enough to push here if we put enough sustain up in front here. So we've got the Webbers, we've got the Recluses. I think Mass Weber is what you do here. Yeah, I think Mass Weber, and you send it forward, and then what happens is they paralyze everything, give you vision of everything. The sharpshooters have all the time in the world to fire away and move forward and fire away and move forward and so on and so forth. Then I think eventually you overwhelm them with the sharpshooters. Yeah. Arbiters here firing away at the bulwark as well. That's always lovely. Demon manages to snipe a commander. Caught that just at the very end of that engagement. But yeah, that's going to be the red commander for Zero Renegade. Going down right there to one of the demons that was pumped out by the maroon commander. Good old, well, I'm not going to read that again. But anyways, you can feel free to look at the bottom right-hand side of your screen and read that out loud as many times as you like, preferably to your mother. Zero Renegade signals towards his northern side. The time has come. Storm the beaches. This is a tricky composition to micro here. Yeah, ideally you want the Webbers fight commanded, you want the Recluses move commanded, you want the Welders move commanded, and you want the Sharpshooters fight commanded. So I guess there's two different groups here. I guess you could do that in 2 hotkeys, but it is definitely a little bit strange. Like there's definitely some varying degrees of control right here. Oh, self-D. Oh, I'd love to see the self-D right here. These ones that get stuck in the middle of the big Sheldon ball, they can do huge damage with the self-destruct right there. You can see the little radius is maximum damage, and the outer radius is the inner radius is the inner radius is maximum. The outer radius is minimum damage. They do a huge amount of damage in a tremendous radius. I like to see it. I like to see the fiends being utilized as well as they can. Doesn't look like it's going to be the game winner here because we do have a demon blasting away a bunch of the fusion reactors for the purple commander. Down go the fusions. The T2 lab follows suit shortly after. The anti-air backpack missiles flying out of the demon's back here directly into these roughneck gunships. Not very quickly breaking them down, but slowly but surely. Trying to get the air support engaged here to try and shuttle this down, but I think it's a little too late. Forces moving forward. These mammoths are doing a great job, but they're not stemming the bleeding so well as I think we probably hoped that they would. They've secured the southern side, but the southern side hasn't been rebuilt yet. In fact, there's only a single advanced metal extractor over here. A couple of resbots patching this up, or maybe just a couple of twitchers running around rebuilding all these. Wouldn't be the end of the world. Looks like we're just going to mine the ever-living hell out of all of it. I don't hate that either, but at the very least, make sure you get your teammates a couple of constructors to get themselves back into the game if you're going to eat up their whole base. Yeah, these Sheldon are tough to push into, but the Webbers are keeping it all alive. Look how much metal those pull back. Skyrocketing the economy right here for the Orange Commander. Hopefully we're scaling back here. Yeah, it looks like we are about to complete an APHIS. That's where most of the metal is going right now. As soon as this comes online, we're definitely going to be in a fabulous position. We could even eat up some of the advanced soars to finish that off. Always worth remembering that those advanced soars do take up a tremendous amount of metal. Demons continuing to march forward here. Sharpshooter's actually doing a great job. So it was 3 sharpshooters. Are they going to kill the demon? There's no way. Does 3 sharpshooters really kill 1 demon? That's impressive. All right. Now, granted, those were micro just about as well as they could. They had as much time as they needed. They backed up, all that good stuff. But still pretty impressive that 3 sharpshooters managed to blast away that demon relatively quickly. There's a slightly larger wall of sharpshooters here. Duffy going for mass sharpshooter. I feel like I've sparked a change in the meta of the game. Made sharpshooter popular once more. I don't know if the sharpshooter, I don't think the sharpshooters were ever unpopular, but certainly they've fallen into prominence now. Demon stepping its way up this hillside will face first plummet directly into the ground here. Its head pops off as it crumbles to the floor. As, yeah, those landmines do indeed hurt quite a lot. There we go. A couple of catapults on the front lines. Catapult's one of those options for dealing with the mammoth. One of those very high health units countered by the very high damage unit. It's perfect. I don't talk often about well, maybe I do talk often about counters and counters in this game, but sometimes the counter to your enemy's composition is just a lot of damage. Sometimes that really is just how simple it is. Go for bigger guns, go for more of them. You'll be in a pretty solid spot here. Speaking of bigger guns and more of them, we are up to, at this point, 23 sharpshooters and counting. Oh no, sorry, that's partly orange counter, count of sharpshooters. Okay, 14 sharpshooters. Slightly less impressive, probably. Still a devastating amount. More than enough to kill T3, certainly. The Weber's marching forward. Beautiful. Beautiful. The Weber's definitely having a moment to think about their actions as they push forward here under the withering fire of those Sheldon. But at the very least, the Recluses are in the back line, giving them what's what, trying to make this even here. This is such a hard hill to push into. I wouldn't even mind seeing forces just sent in any other direction, just neglecting this hill. So easy to defend and so difficult to break. Shiva punching through here. Sharpshooters trying to deal with it, doing a decent job, accompanied by the landmines, of course. Helping out quite a lot. Every shot those Shivas take, every step they make, they will be watching you. Catapults firing into the distance as well. Beautiful. There may be no unit more cinematic in this game than the catapult. The dragon may be a close second, but the catapult certainly the flagship of Cortex satisfaction. Oh, that's not that. Pardon me. Sorry. Hotkey control is very difficult for me. One-man production crew over here. You're gonna have to cut me some slack. Come on, I wanna... Oh. I wanted a nice F5 version of a nice clean cinematic view of that thing firing, but I didn't get it. Oh well. I don't think it'll matter. Sharpshooters are all balled up, and that means they're extremely prone to the heavy Gauss cannon that the Shiva packs on its twin mounts. Its missile also likely to do some serious damage, but obviously a little less likely that the missile's going to connect with the sharpshooters there. How many snipers are there? 5,000? Just about. We are looking in grand total at about, oh, I want to say, yeah, 46 sharpshooters is definitely not bad. The Cyan Commander definitely has enough to hold back substantial power. Do we have any pinpointers? We do not. That is a significant blunder. It is important that every shot that these sharpshooters take, as valuable as it is, 1,000 energy apiece, every single shot needs to connect. Cannot afford even a single miss. They're also balled up. So you can see how the ones in the back are having a hard time firing, and the ones in the middle, I should say. That's because the sharpshooters can't fire past each other. So one of the things about sharpshooters is you have to keep them in a big continental line to make sure that they're constantly spaced out properly. Otherwise, you will only get your surface area's value of sharpshooters, not your volume's value. That can be the difference between a successful fight and an unsuccessful one. Despite the monumentous investment into the sharpshooters, I think there just simply was not enough. At the very least, there was not enough able to fire right there. We are still giving it our all, though. Yeah, Demon falls, and you know what? I mean, the medium tanks, or the heavy tanks, pardon me, will fall too. They go down in just a couple of clicks from those sharpshooters. But really, what's winning it right here are the grunts that are continually running forward right now. We need to mix in a couple of welders. I think if we throw in a welder or two right now, we might be able to save this. But as it stands right now, there's just too many grunts in the back line. Oh no, the economy is at risk. Boom go the E-converters. That's going to take out all the metal production right here for our Cyan Commander. Build power goes up next, and that ensures that no more units will ever come out of that T2 laboratory. And that just about seals the deal right here in the middle of the map. The Aphis will be self-destructed right here, sending those fusion reactors straight to Davy Jones' locker. Beautiful, beautiful match right here. Love to see the spiders in mass over here. Love to see the mass sharpshooter as well. Such a satisfying unit composition. Can you even call it a composition? It's kind of very one unit singularly focused. Anyways, sure hope you enjoyed. I know I sure did. If you did, I always appreciate a like down below. Helps these videos propagate. They have been doing pretty well recently. I think that means the bar is probably on the up and up as far as RTS games go, so that always puts a big old smile on my face. But other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day or your evening or whatever time it is, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.